guys, welcome back to the Ad Lib Podcast, and today is episode 13. 13 already.
Lucky number 13.
Lucky number 13. And today we've got some truly spicy news to talk to you about. Not too many reviews, but a lot of news and some very, very interesting news. We're going to be talking about Lord of the Rings and potential future movies for Lord of the Rings. I know we definitely have some thoughts about that. Lots of hate towards Marvel today as well to talk about. Succession, some interesting trailers. Definitely we've got some very interesting trailers to talk about as well.
This time it's very reasonable hate though towards Marvel. Huh?
Definitely.
With much
always
reason.
reasonable.
Not that last week's review wasn't reasonable, to be fair. Last week's review on Ant-Man wasn't reasonable. That was very reasonable hate as well, I think. But before we get into all the news, first of all, I'd like to welcome Franco. How's it going, Franco?
I'm still dying, basically. Yeah, you'll see me like coughing a lot and whatnot. I started work and finally starting to getting some reviews in. The first review was, this is not something that I'm actually happy that it was a negative review, because I'm in the moment with my short film Night Owl when I've seen it so many times, and now starting to be like, that's me again on the screen, I'm starting to hate it, and I can see the faults times 100, so to speak. Look, funnily enough, the review by Mario Vella, which I have to thank, puts out some points that I also wanted to put out in the movie, but I feel like I should have delivered them better. And delivered them better because I said too much rather than I showed. And it was also a comment that, again, thanks for the feedback, Rebecca Anastasi, which also Rebecca Anastasi, producer of Lutzo, mentioned when she saw the movie. So, and I think she also told me it's good that I made this short movie, because if I didn't make it, I wouldn't know about these aspects that I have to improve on. That's basically it. And now I might think that March 8th, that's the next screening happening, would be the last time it will be shown in its current version. I'm going to try and chop some stuff up and see how it goes. But it's true. I'm now not like
interesting.
Like the last screening, I couldn't handle watching it. I'm just like I was always going in and out of the place. And we're looking forward to. Just a second. We're looking forward on the review on the Times next week as well. Shout out to Daniel Teen as well. Actually, there was a feature this Saturday on the paper and online as well.
Joe, ready to hate on Marvel? Again, for the second week, I'm with you on this as well.
I always am, but we'll get to that discussion.
We will definitely. Okay, guys. So apart from that, Franco, did you watch anything this week?
Yes, I've watched a movie called EO, which I'm going to review later on. Interesting, visually very interesting movie. And then anyway, we'll discuss later on. And how have you been doing, Andrea?
Yeah, definitely. Not too bad. I've been really busy. Last week was super busy, and I noticed today when I was thinking a little bit about the movies I've watched and the series I've watched, I've barely watched any series except for The Last of Us, which I just watched now. It was like a quick 1 hour, get in there, watch it. And my girlfriend, Yasra, was cooking, and I didn't help her, just to get that 1 hour in to watch The Last of Us. And apart from that, I've been what have I been doing this week? I rewatched basically Rocky 1, 2, and 3. 4 is the next one. Maybe tonight, if I have time, I'll watch 4. I'm looking forward to that one. I haven't watched 4. It's the first of the Rockies that I haven't watched. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. That's pretty much my week. Nothing too exciting. I've been so busy this week. Thankfully, this week is a bit more relaxed for me, because I have a student teacher now who took over one of my classes. I've done most of the corrections I needed to do, so this week will be definitely more productive for me with regard to watching stuff. And Joe, I know your week has been very busy as well, right?
It has, yes. It's really weird how the week before I was on like a good streak of like watching so many things and like even rewatching a few things, whereas I only watched one thing this week, like in its entirety, and that was I watched one episode of The Consultant, which is a new Amazon Prime TV show starring Christoph Waltz. Decent vibe. It's good that it's only like 30 minutes long, but I can't really judge it on the one episode. But the premise seems at least fairly interesting. I think I'll give another episode a whirl. What I am looking forward to though this week is there's the start of Glasgow Film Festival, which starts this weekend. And there were two films I wanted to go to that I managed to get tickets for. So on Friday, it's actually the UK premiere of a film called Blackberry.
Okay.
It's about like the rise of BlackBerry, like the mobile phones. The reason I was interested in
remember
it,
those.
the reason I was interested in it
There's lots
is
of hype as
because,
well. There's lots of hype as well.
it's doing the rounds of the festivals and there's lots of hype, but mainly because, as I've probably mentioned before, you guys will know I'm a very big fan of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and Glenn Howerton, who plays Dennis Reynolds in It's Always Sunny, is like one of the main actors in this, and apparently like that's most of the hype around the film is around his performance. Like apparently he's really, really good. So, and you can see there 7.5 on IMDb, and it hasn't even gotten a wide release yet. It must be pretty good. And also I'm catching, which has been on my radar for a while, it's finally coming out in the UK as part of the festival, a film called Sanctuary with Margaret Qualley and Christopher Abbott, which so this one's directed by Matt Johnson in terms of BlackBerry. I can't tell you Sanctuary, but Sanctuary seems like a cool, like, psychological horror type thing. There we go. That's the one. By Zachary Wigan, apparently.
Apparently.
Yeah, excited for those. I've got BlackBerry on Friday, and I believe there's going to be a Q&A with the director after.
Yeah.
And then I've got Sanctuary on Sunday. So,
ooh, that's
what had happened to the Blackberries, guys? Do you remember?
They turned into strawberries.
I think it just like
they vanished. Like I remember them being super popular at one point, and then just everyone forgot about them.
Yeah, I think it's weird. They kind of just like petered out when like proper like this like glass front smartphones became a thing, like with the iPhone. BlackBerry just kind of went
on catastrophic demise, I guess.
Yeah, they what happened? Basically, iPhone and Samsung went for their money and took it. Basically, and BlackBerry. What happened was basically, remember the design, and they still insisted with the design when iPhone was already on towards the glass screen and touch screen.
Exactly, of having like a full physical keyboard. I think what helped their popularity a lot was they were, I'm gonna say, the first, but they might not have been the first, but the first I'd heard of, where they had BBM, they had BlackBerry Messenger, where Blackberries could all message each other like seamlessly for free. I remember that being like, everyone wanted a BlackBerry because it's like, my friends have a BlackBerry, so I want a BlackBerry so I can speak to them for free.
Is that also an iPhone feature now?
Now iPhone have iMessage, yes.
Okay. Mela, shall we go on with the news, guys?
Definitely, because we have a lot of news to talk about today. But guys, before we start with our news, let us know in the comment section below, what have you been watching in the past week? Anything interesting you'd like to tell us about? Leave your comments in the comment section below. And now, let's get into the news.
Wait! Andrea, please subscribe.
And
please like.
He's jumped the gun.
Please follow us on all of the socials. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, what else? Spotify, YouTube. Subscribe, share, Twitter, And always, find us on Tinder, Grindr, and Bumble. And to get it out of the way, Andrea, you still haven't watched Empty Man. Empty Man will follow you.
Yeah, get it out of your system.
That's it.
I was actually going through like Disney Plus the other night, trying to find something to watch and then just not watching anything. And it came by on like the movies we think you'll like. Number 1, The Empty Man. I'm like, you know what? It's true. I do like that movie.
But also, Joe, I've been there before where I'm like on Disney Plus looking for something, and it's never been recommended.
No,
for me.
it's like I just get complete like decision fatigue at the moment, where it'll be like 10 o'clock, and I'll be like, okay, I can find a film that's an hour and a half long, maximum 2 hours, and I can watch that, and I can get enough sleep like to go to work. But then because like I'm not really sure of what I want to watch, and then there's just so much in my face, I just end up scrolling through shit for like 35 minutes, and then I go like, fuck it, I'll watch an episode of It's Always Sunny instead.
All right, guys, let's get into the news. So to start off, this week we had some very, very interesting trailers released. First of all, I'd like to make a quick mention of the Ted Lasso trailer, Season 3, which I haven't watched yet because I'm still finishing Season 2. As you'll know, if you've been watching this podcast for some time, I've been loving watching Ted Lasso. I haven't had a lot of time to watch it this week, but I'll make sure to get onto it. And I'm looking forward to the upcoming Season 3. And so that is Ted Lasso. Another trailer we had was a trailer for Past Lives. It's an A24 produced movie.
So
definitely interesting one.
Look at that is so. The wires are characteristic, just to let you go.
Yeah, written and directed by Celine Song, and apparently it follows a reunion between 2 childhood friends as they contemplate their relationship and their own lives. Apparently, Franco did really well in the Sundance Film Festival as well. It had some big success there.
Yeah, I already saw. I was already seeing some news going around that it was quite hyped up. A24, our buddies at A24 really did a good job of taking it. Man, when I was seeing it, like I had a bit of homesickness. Plus, the story seems very, very powerful.
Yeah,
I'm really interested to see what's going on basically. Also, I have to mention that actress really looks like a friend of mine, which is even interesting.
Joe,
Looking forward for it.
think you've watched this trailer, right?
I haven't. No, I'm incredibly out of the loop at the moment. But from what I'm seeing on screen now, I mean, it looks good. I mean, I think the last Korean language thing that A24 did was Minari, and I love that film. So.
Confession, you guys love Minari?
I haven't
Franco.
seen it yet. Confession.
Okay,
You're missing out.
interesting.
It's very good.
It's good. I didn't love it. I liked it.
Yeah,
I didn't love it,
I
though.
wasn't like this should be winning awards good. I'm like, this
Yeah.
is a very good film.
Agreed. I'll agree on that. What I noticed about Past Lives is the cinematography looks great. So I love these shots, man. They're beautiful.
They're very beautiful.
Really well done.
I'm wondering if they're filmed on film. Who knows? They look really
Interesting.
beautiful. They look really beautiful. I think
Uh-huh.
the relationship
I like
is
this.
so genuine.
Yes, it does. And the chemistry, that's it. The chemistry between the 2 main characters seems like on point. The casting is really well done for this. All right, next up, we've got John Wick Goes to World War II in Sisu. Sisu, which is written and directed by Big Game's Jalmari Helander, set in Finland in the 1940s. We've got apparently this prospector who you can see on screen with his dog. From what we've seen on the trailer, the dog is still alive. Okay, just to get that out there. He strikes gold, literally strikes gold. And unfortunately, he is attacked by a group of Nazi soldiers. The man quickly turns into John Wick and takes on the soldiers. And from what we saw from the trailer, it's a lot of bloody, brutal action, which looks good. The action looks really good.
I hadn't heard of this, but this looks incredible. It sounds so far up my alley. It hurts because it's just fun genre action with a unique setting. So I'm in 100% in.
Pulpy.
There we go.
There you go.
Very
There you go.
pulpy.
It will leave its mark for sure.
It's got like a bit of Inglourious Bastards there.
Yeah.
In it.
I like the giant pickaxe on the back. Like it's very good.
Yes.
look.
Yeah, it looks great. I mean, Have you ever guys seen a Finnish movie called Rare Exports?
No.
That's a very sorry, I'm just saying the trailer right now. That's actually a really good Christmas movie. A really good Christmas movie called Rare Exports. It's
Rare Exports.
Do check it out. Even though it's not Christmas. Even when it's not Christmas, do check it out.
We'll do. Guys, did you see the they're making fun of Wonder Woman here?
Yes.
There was a scene.
Which one? Which one?
With the shield.
Really?
They were making fun of Wonder... Where was it? There was a scene here where he had like a shield on. Oh, this is it. Like clearly making fun of Wonder Woman there. It looks good. No, it looks very good. I'm really looking forward to this.
It seems
if I had seen this trailer. Yeah, Franco?
It seems like the Nazis are the new stormtroopers. They never hit, apparently.
But that's something I hope they focus on. I hope they don't make them too incompetent, because I want there to be some kind of threat, right? Because I sometimes I hate it when like I feel like our protagonist, there's no threat to our protagonist. Like he can beat them in whatever way he wants. Like the grunts, it's fine to just make them stupid and weak, but there needs to be some kind of like powerful antagonist to take on. And I think their leader, the guy who we see at the start, will probably be that guy, right? Is the guy who looks at him.
Yes, he seems like the main antagonist over there.
Possibly. I guess we'll see. But this looks really good, guys. So that's Sisu. Looking forward to this one. And for our final trailer, we've got Swarm. Swarm, which is a television series created by Donald Glover and Janine Nevers, starring Dominique Fishback. Haven't seen Dominique Fishback in a while.
Yeah, it looks beautiful. Like the cinematography and the film used looks incredible. It looks like it's going for a very, like, just to compare it to something, for a very Euphoria type thing, just because it is done in Super 16 film and it is focusing on younger people, but it seems a bit more like, as we're seeing here, a bit more fucked up than Euphoria is. So
yeah, definitely. It's apparently it's about like obsession and them obsessing about celebrity.
yeah,
That's the main theme here.
I
But
feel
it
like
looks really good. The lighting is beautiful.
I feel like it's an indictment because of even the focus on the B and the bass, you know. I think it's an indictment about these crazy fandom, and is it? I'm wondering if it's Hiro Murai that's he's working in with Hiro Murai, because it looks like something Hiro Murai would.
I hope so, because I love Hiro Murai. He directed a couple episodes of Barry, and he directed some of the best ones. So I hope it's Hiro Murai.
And it's also
more reasons to watch Barry.
That's one thing, and he was also the director for the great music video by Donald Glover, This Is America.
Yes. Yeah.
And that was so good. By the way, guys, because I mentioned Dominique Fishback before, I've seen her. My mistake. I've seen her in two things. I watched her in Project Power, which was a Netflix movie, quite mediocre, but she was good in that. And I also watched her in a movie that wasn't talked about enough, which was Judas and the Black Messiah.
Oh, that's a really good film.
Such a good movie.
Really
man.
good film. No, it's like no one gave a shit about that film.
Yes.
It's really good.
No, that's such a great movie. What's his name? Illustra. Daniel Kaluuya.
Daniel Kaluuya.
Daniel Kaluuya.
And Lakeith Stanfield.
Lakeith Stanfield.
That was
he's such
so
a good
man.
Have you
So
seen-
good.
Yes, he's incredible.
Have you seen Lakeith Stanfield in Thank You for Calling, I think.
I know what you're talking about.
I don't think so.
Was it that?
Sorry
Not
to
thank you
bother
for calling. Thank you for
Sorry
listening.
to bother you.
Sorry to bother you. That's it.
No, I haven't watched it.
Yeah, that film
no.
is nuts. It's really good.
It's so good, man. And
That was one of my favorite films the year it came out.
I think it was exactly on it. And funnily enough, it has a similarity with Black Klansman about the voice. But that's what I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. But do check it out, Andrea, because it's so
really
much
good.
fun. It's so much fun.
Yeah, really
Sorry
good.
to bother you. All right.
It does not go the way you think it does.
True. And there's
The
also
poster looks really good.
There's voice acting by Patton Oswalt as well.
Yeah, and what's his name? The one who works with Bob Odenkirk a lot. I always forget his name. No.
I don't.
David Cross.
David Cross. Yeah.
Okay, will do. So sorry to bother you. Okay, so that is Swarm. This is a series, guys. I don't know if you'd be interested in watching this or not. I think I'll give it a go, especially considering it's Donald Glover working on it.
Yeah, I'll
shit.
normally take in anything that he touches. So.
Okie dokies. Next up. So that's the trailers we had to talk about really, really quickly. I'm just going to mention that yesterday we had the SAG Awards.
Awards again. You're obsessed with awards, Andrea. Hey, Andrea, awards, Gravina.
No, I'm just going to mention it. We're going to rush through this. No, I love awards, though. The thing about awards is they're easily quantifiable. They're clear, and I'm the kind of person who likes to be very structured about things. So awards are perfectly structured.
And
with a winner and nominations.
also, just to make a point. Everything Everywhere All at Once is winning again, huh? For you who was hating.
Yes.
Fun fact
fact
about Everything Everywhere All at Once. Apparently, it is now the film with the most ever wins at the SAG Awards.
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
Because it cleaned up. Like, it won Best Actress, Best Supporting Actress, Best Supporting Actor. It won everything.
I can see. Damn, they've got pretty much every trophy there.
Yeah.
They get every award everywhere on at once.
Yeah.
Okay. Because, for example, like the Barry Keoghan one, we all knew that was going to be just a one-off award to him from the BAFTAs, and that Ki Kwan would. But even, for example, like Jamie Lee Curtis taking it.
BAFTAs are white.
That'll be interesting. And Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah, Michelle. I think Michelle Yeoh is the biggest, like, whoa, out of all these ones, because you'd assume from SAG Screen Actors Guild Awards that they'd give it to Blanchett for her work in Tar, but
I think the SAG Awards have really. I think these Oscars are going to be some of the most competitive. They're not clear at all.
This has thrown it wide open in the actors pool, at least.
It'll be an interesting one.
Not so much for like Best Picture and Best Director, but for the acting awards, it's like okay.
But the SAG Awards don't even have like Best Picture, right? They have like Best Ensemble Cast, I think.
Yeah.
They don't have a Best Picture. It's just focused on actors, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, that's the SAG Awards. We've got the Oscars coming up in 2 weeks. So there'll definitely be an interesting race coming up. We've got 2 weeks to go. It'll be interesting to see, so the Oscars will be 2 weeks' time. We're talking, so not this weekend. Is it the weekend? Is it the 10th, 11th?
I believe.
The 10th, 11th, 12th?
I believe it's the
weekend after.
It's the 14th, I believe.
Oh, it's not going to be a weekend.
No,
right.
it's not normally a weekend. I believe it's normally a Tuesday.
All right. Yeah. So, it's worst timing for our podcast.
It's okay. We'll delay a little bit. It's fine.
We'll do a live podcast. We'll do a live one. We should.
Yeah. We'll stay up until like 6 a.m.
Yes, you wake up at 3 a.m, Franco.
Yes. We are dedicated.
I'm definitely not.
Dedicated film nerds.
No, I watched the Oscars once, where I quite literally stayed up until about 5 a.m, and it is not a good watch.
I remember the only time I watched it. I mean, one of the memories I have is when Moonlight won. There was La La Land first, and then I'm sorry, Moonlight. That was. He's not hearing us. Let's give him another editing nugget. He still hasn't seen.
These are gonna become a thing.
He still hasn't seen Empty Man, but I'm not sure how.
No.
Shall we? Wait. Let's stop. Let's stop.
Wait. I think he can hear us now.
Can you hear us? No, he doesn't.
Shit.
Okay. Shit. We love you, Andrea.
We totally weren't talking shit about you again.
Oh, I'm done. Okay, so next up is, I think, the news I'm most excited to talk about, which is why I put it as one of the earlier news. And we've got potentially new Lord of the Rings movies on the way. I love this. They'll arrive precisely when they mean to. So, new Lord of the Rings movies are on the way. Warner Brothers Discovery announced in an investor call on Thursday. Details are scant on the timeline or scope of the project, but Warner Brothers reached a deal with Embracer Group AB, which recently bought the rights to Lord of the Rings movies and games. This is far from the first foray back to Middle-earth after the massive success of the original Lord of the Rings trilogy, directed by Peter Jackson. He returned back on the Hobbit trilogy, not as successful clearly, and we've also recently had a show from Prime Video where named The Rings of Power, no comment, debuted in summer of 2022, but clearly The Rings of Power did not have access to all of Tolkien's source material. They were working with small bits here and there. Right, Joe, what was it? They were working with the...
They only had access to the Second Age, which there is virtually nothing written about.
Yeah,
in Tolkien's
I think
material.
it was
There are just
like
references.
references.
Appendixes. That's all there are.
Yeah, appendixes. So there is that. I'll give them that. Anyways, so I've been wondering. Also, by the way, guys, don't forget. Obviously, we've got the War of the Rohirrim.
That sounds
anime,
sick.
which
That
looks
sounds really good.
Wait, an anime Lord of the Rings. Oh, I think I saw this.
I think it's like someone from like a big anime studio. I think from like the Cowboy Bebop guys are doing it. I could be wrong, but I know that an actual anime studio have been contracted to take it on.
Nice. Can you imagine a jazz
That was very
soundtrack?
cool.
Can you imagine a jazz soundtrack to Lord of the Rings? The Cowboy Bebop theme. Sorry.
Anyways, ideas. What do you think could they focus on? So forget about remaking Lord of the Rings. They're not going to do that. They made it clear that that's not going to happen. They're not going to touch like the Lord of the Rings stories. So clearly, either prequels or sequels. Ideas. Joe, let me start with you.
Firstly, I think what this whole thing is, and I have had a feeling it's going to happen for a while, is Warner Brothers are pulling a Sony here, whereas they have the rights to a very, very hot IP, and time is ticking, and they have to do something with it. So they're announcing that they're going to do something with it. You know, it's like what Sony does with what they had done with Spider-Man before they like subcontracted it to work alongside Disney and Marvel for their films. It's a huge IP to keep, the Lord of the Rings, because they don't just have it for films; they have it for video games as well. Like Warner Brothers, the Warner Brothers Studios. The name of the actual developers is escaping me right now, and I feel really stupid. But anyway, the guys that made the Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War games. So yeah, I think Warner Brothers are doing right now. They've got the War of the Rohirrim film coming out in 2024, which would effectively renew their rights. But I guess now they're also saying, look, we're going to do a little bit more with this. I'm probably the only person here who is a bit of a defender of the Rings of Power. Whilst it wasn't this perfectly refined thing, I like that it's kind of expensive fan fiction of an era we don't know anything about in the Tolkien universe. I thought it does have that. It captured the dialogue from the first three films where it's very sentimental and it's very schlocky, but it's also charming. I liked that, and it was pretty. Overall, I liked the Rings of Power. It certainly didn't blow. I wasn't going like every week like, holy fuck, the Rings of Power. But there were certain episodes where I was like, that was really good, but I do have my trepidations about it as well. I liked where it ended, the Rings of Power. It's kind of petering off for me, but the finale, I was like, okay, good. Now we have like a big crux of a story, because it felt like at least 6 of the 8 episodes were just filler. That's something I can say about the Rings of Power. I'm a lot more negative on this just because I believe Warner Brothers have the rights to the main trilogy, and the Hobbit as well. Like, I mean, to be fair, if they came out and they said we're remaking the Hobbit, I'd kind of go like, okay, I get it, because the Hobbit trilogy sucked. They've said they're not going to touch the Jackson films, which they'd be stupid to. There's a
Definitely.
backlash from that with, I mean, the Lord of the Rings rivaling the Star Wars fandom for the most toxic fandom on the internet. It would not go down well at all.
And you're fighting a losing battle.
Yes.
Because you're never going to beat the original
No,
Lord of the Rings
I
trilogy.
absolutely not. Like, and as well, they kind of outdid themselves. I've heard. I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard the 4K remasters for Blu-ray are incredible as well. So you can already see that
Damn.
in the best quality that there is.
Don't tempt me.
I don't know what they're going to do. Like, if they do more, like, we obviously haven't seen War of the Rohirrim yet, but it looks really cool and it sounds really cool. Like, Japanese anime style animation based on the Helm Hammerhand. So we're getting like an offshoot. We're going to learn more about the Rohirrim, who are a really interesting group of people. That's really cool. And it's unique. An animated film. It's like already, when you say animated film, I'm in. When it's funny because most people won't know, at least in films, the Lord of the Rings like origins are in animation. There was an animated film, I think in the 70s or 80s, which was one of the first things. There was a Hobbit film as well.
The Hobbit one, I remember.
Yeah. But yeah, I just don't know, especially with the Rings of Power going on. Like, as I said, what I like about the Rings of Power is it's essentially expensive fan fiction, which so like I'm in. It's not going to affect the story of the films that I grew up with and adored, and the books as well. So I can just enjoy it for what it is on that. But I don't know what films they're going to bring to the table. I mean, one which they're probably going to do 100% is saying it from now, and when I'm right, I'll be sitting here smugly. They're going to do an Aragorn origin story, 100%.
So that was an idea they had prior to the Rings of Power series.
They're definitely going to do it.
It was proposed.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would clash, however.
They've
They've got the
rights.
rights.
They definitely can.
I think Amazon couldn't do it, actually.
No, Amazon
because
can't,
of-
because Amazon only have the rights to the Second Age, but Warner Brothers
Exactly.
can do it. And they probably will.
Exactly.
And like, come on. Apart from the fact that this is like where I kind of hate the Lord of the Rings fandom a little bit, because there are the parts of the fandom that they adore the books and all the films and adaptations are shit, and those are a different kind of like negative person. But then there are people who are like, the books and the trilogy of films are perfect and whatever, and they don't change stuff. But a lot of people don't know how much was changed from the original books to Peter Jackson's films, particularly
100%.
with the character of Aragorn. If you read the books, Aragorn is this guy who's sure of his destiny, and he's going to go for it head on, and it's what he wants. Viggo Mortensen was someone who looked at the script and said, this guy shouldn't be so self-assured. There should be doubt. There should be, like, humanize him a bit more. He shouldn't be this great king. There should be a journey. And apart from his like performance being utterly fantastic, if they do announce an Aragorn like spin-off or something, whether that's a TV series or whether it's a movie, I'm checked out already, because I'm like, I've seen, for me, as someone who loves the books, for me, film Aragorn is the perfect Aragorn, like Peter Jackson's one. So
That's true.
yeah,
That's true.
I mean, I've been talking a lot about this. I'm very passionate about the Lord of the Rings, so I'll send it over to you guys.
Franco, any ideas about this? Potential new Lord of the Rings movies on the way. What are your thoughts?
What? Lord of the Rings? What? No, I was actually going to ask you guys. I think there's a bit of a delay. I was actually going to ask you guys if you played the games, because they also really, they really congratulate. Sorry, just a second. Yeah, like they've praised the games quite a lot.
Which games in particular?
I forgot. I think Shadow of Mordor. Was it Shadow of Mordor?
Like, I love the Battle for Middle-earth games.
That's
Those
one.
were my
incredible,
babies.
That's
incredible Battle for Middle-earth.
Those were my babies.
I think genuinely the Return of the King game on PS2, I think I can wholeheartedly say is the best movie tie-in game I've ever played in my life.
One of the best, definitely.
Because
Definitely.
I've got a cousin, shout out to Anthony, who we grew up with the Lord of the Rings. It was always like our favorite thing together. The hours like he and I sunk into that game on the PS2 is ridiculous. Like
That was
incredible
really good.
memories. Like, the Shadow of Mordor's pretty good. Shadow of War is just
Yes.
kind of more of the same. It does some
What I love
some
the
weird
Joe
shit.
about those.
Does some weird shit with the source material, Shadow of War.
Forget about any kind of source material. They completely like threw everything away. Like we just take the names and that's it. But they did have an excellent Nemesis system.
Yes.
The Nemesis system was really, really
Yeah,
good.
so it's definitely
so
the
that's
best thing
one
about the
aspect I
games.
loved. And it's a big pity that other developers cannot use the
Yes,
Nemesis system.
Warner Brothers have patented it.
Which is weird. I didn't know you could do that. You could take a system and just...
I mean, to be fair, someone's definitely going to come up with something similar to it and just call it a different name.
They are apparently... We mentioned Wonder Woman already today. There's going to be a new Wonder Woman game, and apparently it's going to have a similar system as well.
Yeah, they did announce that Wonder Woman game.
And it's going to have the Nemesis system as well.
Wonder Woman would be from Warner Brothers for sure because it's a DC character.
Exactly.
So that can use the Nemesis system.
So they can use the Nemesis. That's why.
Yeah.
But anyways, I wanted to mention, talking about the video games, Battle for Middle-earth 2 has a very interesting campaign.
Yes, that's a really, really good addition to like the extended.
That could be an interesting story to focus on. That, or else even more. I've seen this mentioned on Twitter because I was looking up the news on Lord of the Rings, seeing if there were any rumors on Twitter and so on. And I saw this suggestion, and I really, really liked it. I was looking for it, in fact. The suggestion was for them to focus on the war with Angmar, which would focus on like the war in the north. We've got the Dunedain versus the forces of the Witch King.
Shit. Now that you mention that, I really like the idea of that.
That would focus on the rise of the Witch King of Angmar, basically.
Yeah.
And I think it would be very interesting. Because you've got a big battles you could do there.
Yeah.
You've got the Dunedain fighting with the elves. You've got hobbits in it as well.
Yeah.
Hobbits fight in it as well. So you can bring in hobbits without, forcing them in like they did in Rings of Power. So you've got popular characters in it. You've got Elrond who can appear. Galadriel will appear. The Witch King of Angmar who would appear. So we've got popular characters from.
I think so. Do you recast those characters with how perfect the casting was the first time round? Because I think
you have to.
I think Hugo Weaving and Cate Blanchett were just perfect for Galadriel and Elrond.
They were.
The only reason I can half buy into their characters in the Rings of Power is because it's set like 4,000 years before. Like the substantial time.
I think you have to. You have to change the casting. I mean, I know Hugo Weaving. I love Cate Blanchett. I adore.
Yeah.
But
you probably have to at this point. I mean,
I think you have to.
I would steer clear of anything related to the original books and trilogy. If you can do stuff around it, sure. Like maybe do a series just about the Dunedain Rangers. Like you don't have to include Aragorn in that.
Sure. Why not?
What I'd really like to see, it's the only like image that I truly love in the Hobbit films is when you see the Battle of Moria. That would be really cool. Something focused around the dwarfs.
True.
But we'll see.
Or else you can do the origins of Rohan.
Yeah, but I think we're going to get a bit of that in the War of the Rohirrim because like we're going to see Helm Hammerhand. So
could. It's not really the origins, but yeah, I mean,
you could do like a fucking Succession style political thriller set in Gondor.
Yeah, you could do that as well.
That could be pretty interesting.
And so obviously Joe is offering me the
Warner
perfect...
Warner Brothers, I'm available for jobs.
And since Joe is offering me the most obvious of segues, I think we've talked enough about Lord of the Rings.
Yes,
And
you did. Yes, you
Time
did.
to talk about some backstabbing.
Okay, I'm going to say it wasn't an intentional segue. It wasn't an intentional
Really?
segue.
Oh wow!
Completely unintentional.
Damn.
I'm just that good.
Naturally. Because oh my God, Franco.
Franco has the plague.
Yeah. Because I don't know. My reaction was fair enough. It's time. I'm obviously sad about this, but Succession will be ending with season 4, according to HBO. It's been a good run, though. It's been a very good run. Joe, you've watched Succession.
Yeah, I'm
on
on the last 2 episodes of season 3 and loving every minute. And I am actually really happy about this news. Despite it, it's going to be bittersweet because I do love the show. I like an ending. You know, this could have easily been won with its success and with the amount of money it definitely pulls in. They just fought it out for another 8 seasons. But it's good that they're like, nope, it's going to be 4 seasons. The seasons are short as well. They're only like, 9 episodes?
9 episodes.
Relatively short. And there's, look, that's it.
They know when it's they
I'm
know it's
excited.
time. Yeah, they know it's time when they have to exit stage right, basically.
I mean, this will be the first season of Succession that I actually watch week to week, because normally I wait for them to finish, and I like binge them a little bit. But now I'll finish season 3 this week. It's just 2 episodes.
The last episode. Oh boy, you're in for a roller coaster.
The finales of Succession, to be fair, are always fucking brilliant. Every single finale has been great.
I'll be honest with you, the last episode of season 3 was, I think, one of the best episodes of television I've ever watched. I'm going to be honest.
I don't doubt
with
it.
You. Franco, you're still not on the Succession train, are you?
Nope, unfortunately. Still on my radar. Maybe maybe eventually in summer I'll give it a try. But
Franco, I have a question for you. And you might not like where this is coming from, but everyone knows we always give Andreas shit for it's been 13 episodes now and he still hasn't watched The Empty Man, right?
Joe, you're not about to compare The Empty Man with Succession.
No. I'm about to ask Franco because when we first started this podcast, which I hold dear to my heart, and I'm sure you two also do, there was a show I was pretty crazy about, and it was my favorite show of last year, which Franco had watched 4 episodes of, and I don't think he's fucking finished yet. Have you finished Andor, Franco?
Oh, that's true.
Nope, sorry.
Oh my god.
Oh wait, and there's such short episodes as well. You have no excuse.
And they're so good.
And they're so good. Yeah.
I'm not good with TV shows. Sorry, guys.
That was like Andor was like legitimately one where like every week I was like a crack addict. I'm like I need more. I need to know what happens.
I'm not an addict. You know, I don't have any attachments.
Well, you should.
I know, but I like
You're the reason season 2 is taking 2 years. People like you.
I know. But I won't do an Andrea. Okay, I promise you by next week I'll watch all of Andor. Okay, and you can.
I'm gonna hold you to that.
Yeah, hold me to that. Okay.
I'm gonna hold you to that.
I'm gonna reserve some time.
I'm not doing that promise with The Empty Man.
Jesus, you see.
Yeah, Andrea's waiting until we somehow get David Pryor on this show.
I'm a man of my words.
It's a good excuse, though.
Okay.
I am. That's why I won't promise. I'll watch Empty Man because I know I won't. With regard to Succession, I think there's only so much you can take the story, right?
Yeah.
And I think season 4 is, enough. And to be honest, I would imagine that this is a production that takes a lot of time, takes a lot of work from the actors we've got here. We've got some big actors working on this. So I think actors like Jeremy Strong, Kieran Culkin, and so on.
I imagine it's expensive as well.
Very expensive.
With just for Jeremy Strong and Brian Cox, you'd be paying out quite a bit per episode.
So I imagine that even the creators like Jesse Armstrong would want to start working on something else. So I think season 4 is enough. I think this is one of the good aspects of HBO, apart from HBO giving us like quality television. They know when to end it.
Yeah.
The Wire, for example.
Why
The
Sopranos?
Sopranos.
Even though I've only seen a couple episodes, it's meant to be one of the best shows ever made.
Yeah, definitely. So they know when the story is done. Don't need to continue. I'm sure there'll be some kind of. I wonder if there'll be some continuation of Succession. Maybe they'll start something so because it's been a big success as Succession is online on Twitter. It's like was really popular.
Yeah.
But anyways, moving on. And this is an argument, guys, I've been wanting to talk to you about for a very long time. I feel like we've mentioned it here and there, but this Ryan Johnson and Jerry Bruckheimer talked about this this past week. This thing that like streaming platforms are just removing shows because they're too expensive to be on their platforms. Like, one that came to mind was, what was the series that Eric Linden worked on, where he had that bull scene where
Westworld.
Eric Linden was hit by a
Westworld.
Westworld.
Apparently, Westworld was actually pulled off,
Yeah, no, it's gone. You can't watch it.
and you can't watch
Yeah.
it. Like, what the hell? Because it's too expensive to keep.
Yep.
On the streaming side, like, what the hell?
Well,
so
the-
the only way to watch it is illegally.
Yeah, but
or if there's a Blu-ray.
there's
Too
a lot of chat
expensive.
about this. Apparently,
Sorry,
go
Joe.
ahead, Franco.
Too expensive. Why? Or it's a question for both
Just
of
to
you.
keep it on the streaming platform, you have to pay to keep it on.
Yeah, I'm assuming
Apparently.
you'd pay some form of royalties to anyone involved, I suppose. as a streamer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which is weird, like when you own it, because like it's made by HBO, so it'll be on HBO Max. But apparently, what is becoming more popular? I don't know if you guys have seen. I don't know if you get it on Amazon Prime in Malta, but you get it in the UK. There's this Freeview option where some films are on Freevee, I think it's called, where basically the film is like free to anyone that has an Amazon Prime membership. You don't pay anything else additional, but it's with ads. So like every 10 to 15 minutes or so, like you used to watch like on television, like
on
an ad
TV,
would pop
yeah.
up and interrupt your viewing. Yeah. Now a lot of people they're saying is like, Westworld, okay, I loved the first season. I didn't watch the rest because in my mind it was a great mini-series and that was it. But it had quite a lot of fans for the 4 seasons that it had.
It did.
Now, a lot of people are thinking, you can't just remove that forever and have it nowhere. So a lot of people are thinking now HBO is going to come out with like its own version of like Freevee. It's this like free offshoot of HBO Max, but there are ads on it because this is the problem now that streamers are having, because we had that age, especially with COVID, and everyone's like, streamers are going to take over and theaters are going to die because of it, because streaming is the way to go. And now all these streamers are going like, shit, we need to up our revenue because our projects are costing too much, so we need to charge people more. How are they going to get money? They're going to get it through people paying for ad space. And it is literally because I was thinking about it the other day, regular television, like I haven't watched regular standard television, like with like channels, like I switched from like, I don't know, like Cartoon Network to Discovery or something. I can't remember the last time I've watched TV like that. And streaming kind of killed that kind of TV where you had channels, you had ads. Now, I think we're going to have our own like streaming version of that, where there's going to be offshoots where they're free, but there are ads involved in it, and they're always trying to sell you shit. And that's where your favorite shows and films are going to be shown, especially if they're not the most successful ones. We live in a weird time. It's a scary time. It's like, I mean, I will preach this all the time, but the things that you really love in terms of media, you should always buy physically, because no one can take that away from you. If you take care of that thing and you have something to play it on, which there will always be, even if you want to play fucking cassettes, there are millions of cassette players you can buy just off eBay, like old ones that still work because they're robust little machines. If you love something, like when you have it physically, a corporation can't go, we want to remove this because it's expensive to put on our streaming platform, or you've moved to fucking Timbuktu and this isn't available in Timbuktu, so you can't have it anymore even though you've paid for it. You know, it's like friends of mine used to question me for years because back in Malta, I would do it now, and I don't have a vinyl player. I used to collect vinyls because I loved having the big physical thing and the artwork, and it's mine, and if I take care of it, it will outlive me.
Yep.
You know?
Same here. I had a period of addiction to vinyls.
Yeah.
Like my dad used to collect a lot of vinyls, and he's given me a few of his. And I had a period of time right before COVID, and then COVID stopped the whole thing, where I was just buying vinyls left, right, and center, like anything I could buy.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorites, I found it in Spain, in like this dingy shop. I got it for like 3-4 euros. The soundtrack for Casablanca.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's so good, man. It's so good.
Whereas like a lot of things, I was listening to a podcast earlier today. Shout out to the Blank Check podcast. They were doing an episode on 28 Days Later, by Danny Boyle.
Ooh.
And they were talking about the rights for those soundtracks of 28 days and 28 weeks. Like the rights for the distribution are all up in the air. Like they're all over the place. And one of the hosts, Griffin, was saying he had bought the special two like CD edition through iTunes of both soundtracks, but because of like the distribution rights on his Apple account, he no longer owns them. He wasn't refunded. He just can't access them through his iTunes account where he bought them. He said, luckily, his Apple Music is like linked to like his Amazon Music and stuff like that. So like then on Amazon he has them because they have a different deal. But can you, like, it's fucking ludicrous that you're paying for something. Okay, in this case, you're paying for a streaming service, so they reserve, for lack of a better term, the right to take down shows that they don't want to keep airing. But like then as a consumer, you're kind of like, you know, what do you do?
I'm sorry, Joe. They pull off shows like Westworld, and then they go on and do Velma. So I'm sorry, it's a stupid fucking decision. You know?
Yes, it is. It's people being out of touch.
No, it's not only that. It's running. It is a business. I understand, but can you run it with a sort of nuance? You know, and suddenly it came to mind. Frank Zappa I saw this on a TikTok a while ago. But Frank Zappa made this comparison between music business in his day and music business back in the day, where managers back in the day, they would use to put everything, and he's like those managers before were like, oh, who knows? I mean, you know, I don't listen to the scrap, but maybe someone out there listens to that scrap. And then during in his day, he said all these yuppies. He was saying all these yuppies that they want to curate and whatnot, and then it ended up being like nothing to write home about. I think it's a comparable example to what's happening to streaming business, and I feel like also a good suggestion would be get back to releasing episodes one by one.
Yes, that one. I preach.
Because I think part of the reason I am enjoying Last of Us and eventually Andor is watching it. You know, watching it one by one. You know, it's like you reading a chapter. You know, we should slow the fuck down, basically. And I feel like that's why they're losing subscribers. That's why they're losing subscribers as well.
Okay, completely, because like I touched on decision fatigue earlier. This like, and everyone praised Netflix when it first became like the streaming sensation that we know today, because they're like, oh shit, when Netflix make a TV show, they released all in one day. I can watch this TV show all in one day. But it's just made decision fatigue for people and this like streaming fatigue we have. And ultimately, I think it's what led people back to theaters. Because, and as well, like, it just goes to show like how they can't make money off that. How are you supposed to have a marketing campaign and promote something for weeks on end to make money when you fart it all out in one day?
Look at Stranger Things, for example. Just by splitting up the season, there they managed to like start us off the story, create hype for the second part of the season. Everyone's still talking about Stranger Things because the second part of the season is coming up. And then you get the big hype release, right? And that's just 2 parts. The season split into 2, let alone an episode every week. Look at The Last of Us. How much traction that series has picked up.
The Last of Us
every episode is doing really well.
Like that. Like I actually look forward to every Tuesday at work because my boss watches The Last of Us and one of my other colleagues watches it too. Like at some point tomorrow, he's going to turn to me. He's like, "Did you watch The Last of Us last night?" And it's going to have a back and forth, and then like my other colleague might join in, or she might be like, "Oh no, don't talk about it because I haven't seen it yet." It causes social interaction, and that kind of like word of mouth.
That's a really good observation.
Free marketing, such incredible free marketing. The amount of people, because I mean, I work in a professional sports team, so there's about 45 players, and then all the staff around it. But the amount of like even just like. One of the players will come up to me because he knows like I watch his stuff and he knows about the podcast. He'll be like, "Oh, Jolie, did you watch the latest Last of Us?" And then suddenly another 3 come over and they go, "We haven't watched The Last of Us. Like, should we watch it?" Because you want to be part of that conversation. That's happening. I remember when we had gone to, basically we had 2 away games in South Africa in November. So we were in South Africa for 2 weeks at the time. And that was at the time when House of the Dragon was still releasing every week. We would have on the Monday nights every Monday night we had the big screen in like the big team room. Someone would stream House of the Dragon and a big group of us sitting around. It's almost like a film viewing. But like that's what you get. Like HBO is so good at having that weekly release, and they've stuck to it ever since they've been a thing. And it shows why, like, to me, the apex of television is HBO. They're the best at it. They've nailed it.
Obviously, it helps that HBO release stuff.
Yes, but I mean,
they're 9 p.m. shows, Sunday 9 p.m. shows.
Yes, well, they've had that since the 90s, though. That's been their thing.
Pure class. But they've always been quality.
Yes.
Like even, maybe you didn't like House of the Dragon, sure, but I mean, now they're gonna have Succession.
Yeah.
They're gonna have what's the other series that you like to watch? Euphoria, for example, as well.
White Lotus is HBO. Barry
White
is
Lotus.
HBO.
Barry. Last of Us. I mean, all of these are pure quality.
Yeah.
And it's. I mean, you get people talking about it. Pick up traction.
Yeah. Andrea, you say that about House of the Dragon, that by the end of it I wasn't too fond. I still watched it every Monday.
Because you wanted to be in the loop.
Yes.
You wanted to talk about it.
Yes, and as well, because I'd go like, okay, I was kind of lukewarm on that episode.
Maybe next time.
Let me try another one. Yeah, maybe next time. Let me try. I'll digest it over a week. Really get my thoughts together. A week comes around because that's the perfect time to digest. Whereas, like, it was one of my biggest problems with Stranger Things because like the only reason why I watched 2.5 seasons of it, if we all release in a day, I'd watch 3 or 4 episodes in a day, and I'd be like, fuck these kids, I don't care anymore. So, there's no anticipation with that.
But apart from the social factor, the idea of binge watching is also, causing lots of problems with productivity. You end up
completely.
You end up saying like, let me watch another one. Let me watch another one, and you do nothing at all during the day. I mean, you can reserve a day just to watch. But I feel we should they should draw back that idea of releasing weekly. I feel like people would say, listen, are you subscribed to Netflix because I'm seeing this series?
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know if I'm saying like this is bullshit. Reality TV shows. I mean, this is a business idea. There you go. Reality TV shows should be on a separate platform, not on Netflix. If Netflix is just movies and just movies, good. I mean, then again, there's movies very well curated as well. Movie, please sponsor us. Movie, please sponsor us. Snip this for TikTok because genuinely, I think I should reach out to them and they sponsor us. No, I think that one is also I think it's that's why I feel series are not getting enough audiences. This is interesting though, because Mindhunter was cancelled, right? It was an excellent series.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
Incredible
quality series, quality performances.
And still, Fincher is still working with them, with Love, Death and Robots. There's The Killer coming up soon, so...
Yeah.
At least give...
And even the creators of 1899 and Dark are still working with Netflix, for example.
Oh, yeah.
They're creating a new show with them, despite 1899 being cancelled.
At the end of the day, your show's being cancelled, but then if they're going, look, we're going to cancel this one, but we still want you to make another one. You're not going to turn around and go, no, I don't want a job.
True.
Pero I don't understand, because it's a waste of... Isn't it a waste of money? Granted, that Netflix has brought in...
I don't think so. I think they're getting a lot of money for making the show.
I mean, to be fair,
No.
Sorry, there's obviously contracts involved in this.
Netflix is working at a loss. Always working at a loss.
Yes. No, Netflix 100%. No, I'm talking about the creators of the show. The creators of the show are getting paid a shit ton of money. 100%.
Are they?
Netflix are always at a loss. I think all these streaming platforms are working at a loss. We talked about Disney last week, losing tons of money. That's all lost from Disney Plus. Do you know how many shows they were releasing on Disney Plus?
Yeah.
Like all the Marvel shows, all the Star Wars shows,
Yeah.
and you're still making a loss. How is that possible to have Marvel and Star Wars shows on your platform, and your platform still being a complete loss, total disaster with regard to finances?
Yeah. That's for Disney
Losing
as well.
I think $1 billion. Was that like they lost $1 billion? Like, how is it possible? Like, what are you doing wrong?
Maybe later on we'll know
Clearly,
why.
the shows weren't.
Maybe later on we'll know why they're making a loss in
Yes.
the news.
How about we know now? Because
Yeah.
next up,
Excellent
it's
stuff.
time to shit on
Tell
both
us
DC and Marvel, apparently, because we're going to start off with DC. Because, guys, this is, I think, the only comic book movie I haven't watched. This, and I lied last time. I haven't watched Thor, the second Thor.
Oh, don't.
Ragnarok? No, Dark
haven't
World.
watched it.
Oh,
Dark
No,
World,
Dark World.
don't.
I haven't watched that
Doesn't
one either.
exist. Fuck off.
Look, I watched like half of it. I lie. I watched half of it and I stopped because I got bored.
Dark
Makes
World
sense.
is Rocky 4 of the Marvel of the Thor, basically. No, Rocky 5.
No, the
sorry.
Rocky
Rocky
five, I
5.
Joe's eyes.
I was going to say Rocky 4 is awesome.
I'll watch it tonight, Rocky 4. I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, Helen Mirren. I really want to see Helen Mirren on set and being like, what's going on exactly here? Yeah, so Helen Mirren, you need to wear this super heavy costume and do these stunts because apparently, as she said, don't ask me about the plot. It's too complicated. Lucy Liu and I are angry goddesses wearing unbelievably heavy costumes. It was very hot and uncomfortable. And in fact, Lucy said at the end of the first day's shooting, they're trying to kill us, in all seriousness. This is interesting. I mean, you get these actors like Helen Mirren, super talented actresses, but obviously I don't think they're the biggest fans of these like comic book
No, I mean, it's
shows and
it's not
characters.
meant for their demographic, really.
I mean,
Clearly.
but at the end of the day, Helen Mirren, in the same article, she mentioned that she wanted to be in the Fast and Furious franchise just to drive fast cars. This woman knows how to have fun.
Yes,
This
that's
woman
true.
knows how to have fun.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
She's done it all as well.
Helen Mirren, you're welcome on the show. I love
Absolutely.
you. Yeah. Let come on the show, Helen Mirren. But I think she would be a
And-
blast, man.
Ooh,
Definitely.
she looks like a really fun person. I mean, just seeing her in 19... I watched the first couple of episodes of 1923, but then I stopped because so I need to watch the whole of Yellowstone first during the summer holidays and then get on to the prequel shows. But in the first 2 episodes, she was absolutely brilliant. Like, next level. I cannot explain in words how good she was in that.
I think,
Too good.
if I'm not mistaken, maybe she's been in water. She's worked in water because 1923 has some scenes filmed here. Eh? I don't know what they're standing in
Yes,
for.
1923 has some scenes filmed here, but I don't think it was the Helen Mirren scenes that were
So
filmed
maybe
here.
second unit, yeah, could be.
It was another character.
Could be second unit as well.
Yeah, because it's parts of it are set in America and parts of it are set in Africa, and obviously the African scenes were filmed here.
Okay. Look at our African complexion, guys.
But anyways,
Sorry.
hey,
It always makes me laugh, like how Malta is used for like either like Turkey or Africa. Well, I mean, Turkey is part of Africa.
Midnight Express is still. No, but I think
Midnight Express.
I think when we have Mr. Paquette on the show, we should ask him why Malta. And he actually mentioned apparently it's a very attractive. They have a very attractive incentive.
I mean,
But that's for another
it
episode.
might have something to do with the tax rebate that they get, but don't tell anyone.
I wonder.
40% cash rebate, huh?
Basically,
In Zumba.
So, guys, one last thing I wanted to mention about Shazam, apparently, because I haven't listed it here in the news, but I can just mention it really quickly. Apparently, the box office predictions for it are really low. Like, it's on the super low end of comic book movies. I haven't watched the first Shazam, as I mentioned. I don't know what you guys thought about it. I think you had mentioned you liked it, right?
yeah, I
Joe and-
actually liked the first Shazam. As Helen Mirren said, it was sweet and funny.
Yes,
Franco.
and again, I have a soft spot for the director. He's a really nice guy. We should actually invite him as well. He's Swedish, but he also started his career on YouTube with the short Lights Out.
Ooh, okay.
You remember that short Lights Out?
Yeah,
Have
that's
you
a
seen
really
it?
good shot.
It's a really good shot. The horror is efficient. Not it's
Yeah.
like on the same level as Intrigued, I would say, as far as it's enjoyable. And he also that David Semberg is also unlucky because he did, apparently it was very well reviewed, Ouija, Origin of Evil, and Annabelle Creation.
That is a good film. It is a good film.
Which one?
Origin of Evil. Very good film.
Ouija, Origin of
Ouija,
Evil.
Origin of Evil.
Oh,
I can't
okay.
stand the Ouija movies.
No,
no.
but
No.
it's not connected to the first one. This is really good.
Oh, okay.
okay.
all right.
Okay.
It's
And even,
genuinely
see
very
that.
good.
and even
Okay.
Annabelle Creation as well. Annabelle Creation, it's really well reviewed.
That I haven't seen.
And Shazam.
Okay.
And Shazam.
Oh, you mentioned Franco, by the way, because you mentioned Intriguing. Did you hear, guys, that there's going to be an unrated version of Intriguing coming out?
Like I
didn't.
said on the chat to you guys, either they're scammed us in the cinema, or this is a great marketing ploy that they give the tamed version in the cinema so that we wait for the uncut version. And she's like, God damn it, this is the movie.
Yeah.
We should
No,
have
but they get the tame part, so all the teens come out, talk about it on TikTok and make TikToks of the dance. But now
Shit, we made a
they
TikTok of
push
the dance.
to the more mature audience.
I mean, 50,000 views, guys.
Yeah, that's our biggest videos.
Pin
we
it,
need to dance more, guys.
pin it to the top. Pin it to the top, please.
That actually might be a really good one. Do we know if they're releasing it in theaters?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because that would be a really good one. If they were releasing it in theaters, and it was like, oh, for the summer, I would actually plan to come back to Malta when it's out in Malta. We could actually have finally a meet-up between all three of us and go and watch it.
That would be interesting. Talking about TikToks, guys, do you know who does not have time to make TikToks and dances? The Marvel VFX artists, man. Those guys are being treated horribly.
You simultaneously made a segue and also beat them down to the ground.
I felt a little guilty saying that, but I thought it was too good not to mention it. Now that
No,
it came to
but
mind.
I mean, good job, I guess.
Your segue game, you're beating my dead joke game, man. Your segue game is amazing.
So this one, Franco, I think you had linked this, right?
Yes.
And I read the article and Wow.
show them.
the quote at the end.
Okay, for the people, yes, the quote at the end. So we're showing it on the podcast, and we're also going to read it out loud for the Spotify listeners.
Let me start off with the quote at the end, because I think it really sums up the whole thing, and then we'll talk about it. I think there's so much potential for the story, for the visual effects in general, talking about Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I think the movie's getting the reviews it's been getting because Marvel is doubling down as much as possible on constructing quality. They're squeezing blood out of stones, and we're out of blood. That's a really... Wow. That's some quote. Anyways, what is the issue about? So clearly, as you've heard, the issue is all about Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I told you guys the CGI was wonky, and I told you guys that it looked like nothing felt real. Everything felt off. It felt like they were in a video game. Nothing felt solid. I felt like the characters were floating in the air. Nothing felt real. It's like the characters on House of the Dragon floating on dragons. Well, you can tell that the dragon isn't something solid. That was, I think, my one big issue with House of the Dragon. And it's the same issue here. Nothing feels believable. Nothing feels real. Anyway, so the latest Marvel blockbuster film, which ushers in Phase 5 for the MCU, ranks rotten by Rotten Tomatoes aggregate of reviews for the film. And one of the big issues with many critics are the rocky special effects. But we've heard from VFX artists who worked on it who let us know about all the issues that there were working on it. And there were issues. Unfortunately, it is noticeable that there were shortcuts. Visual effects technician Jin, whose name has been changed for a Vulture expose, said certain things were used to cover up incomplete work, certain editorial cuts were made to not show as much action or effects as there could have been, likely because there just wasn't enough time to render everything. It really did feel like certain scenes were trimmed or otherwise altered to either save money, save time, or cover up the inability to get it done. Another interesting point was the fact that attention went from Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and the focus in post-production process went more towards Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, with VFX workers allegedly clocking in as much as 80 hours per week for months at a time. We're talking crunch time for months and months and months. Because, especially when last-minute changes were requested, of course, Marvel haven't commented about this. Another VFX artist said that there were times when we were creating an actor's entire action, Ant-Man moving across something, and you just think, why did they film it the right way? Why didn't they film it the right way, or how they wanted in the first place? Why are we having to redo and recreate? Why do we have to, I like this, why do I have to Frankenstein together an actor's performance? A quick shot that maybe takes 2 seconds would have to be redone 20 times to get the look that they want. There was a lot of reworking, a lot of inefficiency. I mean, yeah, it's a big one, guys. I mean, I told you guys, none of this felt real, none of this looked real, and here's why, right? Joe, now's your time to shine.
I mean, the good thing out of all of this is that these VFX artists, are speaking out, and people are giving them a platform to do so, and they're covering it in the mainstream media. I can't see Marvel commenting in any way. They're probably just going to ignore this and hope it goes away. But it's mass scale production. It's going to happen. Like the so-called little people are going to suffer hard for these kinds of things, and it shouldn't be that way. And it's relating back to our Netflix talk and what we've gotten used to, particularly people in the Generation Z demographic of people, not so much us millennials, that like instant gratification at your fingertips is the norm for a lot of younger people. Like for us as millennials, it's kind of like, I mean, shit, I remember opening up Netflix for the first time and going like, wait, I can watch all of this stuff. I'm being like, whoa, this is different. But to a lot of people, it's like, no, it needs to be here, it needs to be right now. And cinema has tried to follow suit by... There's actually... are any of you fans of Bo Burnham?
Yes.
Yes. And did you watch his film Inside?
Absolutely
Yes.
loved it.
Yeah, there's his song, which in my opinion is one of the best ones from that incredible film that he made during lockdown. Welcome to the Internet.
Yeah.
Where the
Welcome
main,
to the
the
internet.
main line, the main line is, can I interest you in everything all of the time? A little bit of everything all of the time. Apathy is a tragedy, and boredom is a crime. And like this, there is no truer statement, because it's not just the internet where we expect everything everywhere all of the time. It's in every kind of like media that we consume, be it music, be it films, be it video games. We need it now. It's why I believe early access is a thing for games, because these guys need to push something out. Like, because they can't wait 7 years to release a game, so we'll release it in 4, but we'll release it in an unfinished state, and you can't do that with a film. Obviously, I mean, these films are coming out unfinished, but it's not like they're going to re-release in a couple of months being like Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania 2.0 because we finally finished the fucking special effects. Like, look, that's not going to happen, and that's unacceptable.
Can I mention something really quickly? Talking about the 7-year development, have you heard about the game Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League?
Yes.
So that is one video game that is suffering from the issue of that long development period of times. Because apparently, I saw some. I didn't see some of the gameplay, but I saw some news articles.
That's actually one thing I
it.
did consume. I watched the gameplay from the state of play.
And did you notice how there are a lot of ideas which were popular years ago? Like all the live service shit.
All the endless menus and bullshit.
And obviously now, like when something like Elden Ring comes out and like it's a big hit, or something like Hogwarts Legacy comes out and it's a big hit, no live service bullshit, just
grounded single player game.
And everyone's shifting to that now.
Yeah.
But a game like Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League has been in development for 7 years.
Yeah.
They have ideas, and it takes a really long time to create a AAA video game.
And it's huge.
And now they're going to release it, and you know everyone's going to hate it.
It also just doesn't, like, I mean, I love the Batman Arkham games. This one just doesn't look like my cup of tea, to be completely honest. But even like a ridiculous thing with that, it doesn't really relate to this, but you have to have an internet connection to play that game single player.
Yeah. But that's another thing which was popular a few years ago, and now again, because of games like Elden Ring and so on, is no longer like a popular thing. Although, to be fair, it never was popular. Everyone hated it.
Single player.
But sorry, back on topic.
You said single player games are becoming more the thing now again.
Yeah.
Yes. Again, because of games like Elden Ring, for example, Hogwarts Legacy.
It's good not to have friends sometimes, no?
I couldn't agree more.
Sometimes.
But yeah, back to it. This wanting everything as fast as possible, it now leads. I mean, like, I thought it was ridiculous a couple of years ago. It was when, as you guys know, I have the oath of like never to watch a Marvel film in a theater ever again. Back when me and my friend like kind of came up with that concept of like, well, look, we're going to watch Endgame and then we're not going to pay any more money to watch these movies just because of the machine that they're churned out on. I remember a couple of years before Endgame, like at some Comic-Con or some big fucking Marvel convention, Feige came out and like they announced like the next like 8 years of like Marvel films. And there was something like, and like TV series, and there was something like 40 projects in the next 8 years. It was something ridiculous. Where it was where they announced Moon Knight and they announced Blade.
Oh,
and
yes,
they were going to have plans for
that.
Deadpool.
It's
and then there's going to be... Yeah, and then there's going to be Eternals, there's going to be Shang-Chi. They announced all this shit. Like, what? Like, I still remember, it was back when I actually really liked the Marvel films, when they first became a thing. I remember hearing that there was going to be an Iron Man movie, and I was like, what? And like looking around for news about anything, and it was being drip fed, and that's why I was excited. But now, because you make this promise 8-10 years in advance to people, the more kind of like privy to this kind of instant consumption are going to be looking at their watches being like, Feige, where the fuck's my movie? You know? And then
like Blade.
Yeah, like Blade. I genuinely think Blade is going to get canned. Because it apparently...
That's phase 5, huh?
Yeah, apparently it's not going well. Apparently there's rewrites all over the place. And a rumor, take it with a pinch of salt, Mahershala Ali wants to drop out.
Good on him. Work on something like decent. I mean, Blade, if done properly, is amazing. Like the original Blade.
But the original Blade is great. Like, okay,
so
yeah,
good.
Like they're campy
cheesy,
and they're trashy,
campy.
but like it's fun. Like it's so,
but they're so fun.
It's like so like of its time.
Do you remember? I was born ready, motherfucker.
So good, man. By the way, I have trivia for Blaze 3. Apparently, Wesley Snipes didn't want to do the third movie. So to the point.
Yeah, I know. I heard that as well.
To the point that there's a shot where he refused to open his eyes, and they had to put them on post. I think you can find you can find this on YouTube when you see Wesley Snipes opens his eyes, and they that's one thing. I mean,
amazing.
It's I would have liked to see sorry for the name, Mahershala Ali. I would love to see him as Blade, man. You know, come on.
But not a PG-13 Blade.
It's
man,
definitely
please.
going to be a PG-13 Blade. Like, who are we kidding?
Madonna,
The only
Madonna.
one that is going to remain rated R because it was
It's Deadpool.
and only because it was I think it still is the highest grossing rated R movie of all time.
Mhm.
Oh,
So they're like, okay, we're gonna, instead of raising that horse from the dead, we're gonna continue beating that dead horse instead.
let's see. I mean, what do you
Like, that's one of the things I respect DC, because they gave us the Batman, right? Proper the Batman.
Suicide Squad?
Blade.
Hard R, man.
So, I mean, hard R as well. Blade, man, PG-13 Blade, what the fuck? Franco, you wanted to add something on this?
No, مش oħra, like I told you, unless they do a Blumhouse and release an uncut version, no.
Cut Blade. Yeah, that's definitely not something we're gonna get. But guys, one last thing I want to mention.
Pun not
Today I did a
intended.
test.
Pun not intended, by the way. Blade uncut.
Today, I finished my lesson a little early with my CCP group at school, and I did a bit of a test. Coincidentally, we were talking about Spider-Man, because we were talking about story elements and protagonists and setting and so on. And we were talking about the original Spider-Man, the 2002 Spider-Man, like doing set in New York, main protagonist is Peter Parker, and so on. And I had a few minutes left, and I wanted to do a test. I wanted to test what their opinion was about the flying in the original Spider-Man, and how the flying looks in the new Spider-Man. And I didn't say anything about it. I told them, like, which one, in your opinion, looks better and looks more real? And they actually went for the original Spider-Man. They said that looks better.
Yeah, it does.
And more real. And these are 11-year-old kids.
Yes, it does.
11, 12-year-old kids.
We underestimate.
I was shocked that they gave me that.
We underestimate the young guys, man. We underestimate them. I think the
I found it fascinating.
But that is one of the side effects of having everything everywhere. They are hyper aware. So that was hyper aware with a hard H. Sorry, it's talking about it. They are hyper aware to the point of ADHD. That's why ADHD increased. Like they know they can process information faster, And I'm telling you, because even I'm noticing it. Like they know what the good stuff is, and I think they just like. Actually, something about the Marvel thing, to put it back to the Marvel stuff. I don't understand why the audience aggregates on Rotten Tomatoes 84. I mean, then I don't understand all the Twitter chatter to begin with. And actually, I ask this: do you think, guys? Actually, let me put this to you, and also, guys, do comment about all the news that we've discussed, and what do you think about this whole Marvel debacle as well? And I would like to put it out to you guys, to you, Joe and Andrea. Do you think a boycott would work for this one? Because I feel like this time the boycott would work, because I
doubt it.
But again, I think unless VFX artists unionize, and I hope they do unionize, they're gonna be like they won't even. Not only blood left, like they won't even any stone left to dry out.
Yeah.
Unionize, guys.
I mean, for me, in a perfect world, a boycott happens just to see it happen. But like as you say, like on Rotten Tomatoes, they still get in the high 80s for their rating. It's because
audience rating, right?
It's why I don't. It's why
audience rating.
It's why I don't like Rotten Tomatoes as like a platform, because this is going to sound really like up my own ass and like snobby of me. The general person that gives a shit about a Rotten Tomatoes score is not someone who's like versed in like filmic language or like really loves films. They're just normally a regular consumer. Now, this kind of links to like
Joe. Just a quick thing. Rotten Tomatoes rating is the new 2 thumbs up. Remember those videos, Siskel and Ebert, 2 thumbs up. Ebert and Roper, 2 thumbs up. It's the new 2 thumbs up, man.
But yeah, and it's like what we have to take into account as well this kind of links to like when a lot of people were giving people shit for playing Hogwarts Legacy because if you do play it, you're not a trans ally and all that. It's just like regular people, especially like working class people who like might like comic books. They've got like everyone the world over has a lot of shit going on in their life, no matter what kind of class you're from. Maybe if you're rich, probably a bit less than a working class person. Let's put it that way. But sometimes, and I kind of get it, you just want to turn on something which is like fun enough and pretty enough, and that's going to give you the escapism that you want to forget about the troubles in your life. And the amount of people that just want that versus the people that really love this medium and want to see new things, it's chalk and cheese in terms of the numbers. The general person just wants the base rate of entertainment, and they'll take it. Like, their standards are very low. And this is not me judging them or me saying I'm better than them. That is absolutely fine, because for me, whatever gets someone through the day doesn't make a difference to me.
Joe, on this argument, what would you predict the Letterboxd rating for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania would be? Because the Letterboxd audience is a little different from like the Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb.
I believe it's below 3.
It is below 3. It's at 2.8. And most popular rating is 6 out of 10, I believe. Yeah, 52,606. But I'm going to read the most popular review, which made me laugh. It took me 31 films, but I finally started to empathize with Scorsese. And I feel validated by this review. And the fact that this got 12,780 likes, I feel validated.
The thing is, though, like,
with what I had posted on the Prickly Pears.
Actually, I want to check something really quickly.
Pepe Ruloba. Well done.
I love you.
And Jihan, do you know cinema as a visual?
So wait, guys, I want to throw something out there. So that guy said it took me 31 films, and how many MCU TV shows have there been? There's been WandaVision.
Ooh.
There was
7, definitely
Falcon,
7, 8.
Loki,
Falcon, Miss Marvel,
She-Hulk,
Moon Knight,
She-Hulk, Moon Knight,
Hawkeye.
Jeez.
That's 7. Shield, Agents
That's
of Shield.
7.
Can't forget about that.
Agents of Shield.
Let's say 8. A solid 8 TV shows and 31 films. Nearly 40 different projects. Guys, the first MCU film was only released in 2008. It hasn't even been 20 years.
2008. Jesus.
Do you see what, like, the result of fatigue and how, like, we have basically been slapped in the face multiple times a year by these projects?
But I genuinely don't understand why people still and they're right. So I think there's also fatigue with the sense of this, like, MCU hating. Nothing against you, Joe, but it is a fatigue. I think
I agree it's a tired opinion, but
no,
I'll die on that hill.
100%.
But honestly, I understand. I know it's a tired opinion, but I think I'm gonna say, screw it, guys. We're right about this. I mean, but then you come.
But let's be fair, not all of them, not all, because like when I watched Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, that felt grounded. It felt real.
You know why? Like, you know why?
It didn't have like the action of the original Black Panther, where the CGI was completely off at the end of Black Panther. The CGI was
of course
horrific. This one didn't have that. The action was very good. Felt really punchy. Like, you could tell the stuntmen working on this, real punches. And it felt very emotional, very grounded. But apparently, from what we've read, Franco, I think you're going to say something about this.
I was going to say, because all of the budget that was supposed to go to Ant-Man went to Black Panther. I know that. I mean, does it take a fucking genius to tell them, okay, let's delay a bit Quantumania, Astra? That's all it's needed. That's all it needed. Time. Give breathing space.
Got to hit their slate.
But let's be honest as well.
I saw. Sorry, quickly.
Go ahead, Franco,
Andrea,
and then I'll make my point.
I saw a tweet about we're tired of superhero movies, and it's like because It seems like people don't want some optimist story. I'm sorry, I do like an optimist story, but for a hero to be a hero, they have to make really big sacrifices. We're also losing the idea of stakes.
Yeah, I mean,
if
The
even with
Batman by Matt Reeves was an optimist story at the end of it.
yeah, but the sacrifice he's got to. I mean, Pennyworth.
Yes, completely.
Alf, like almost losing Alfred's, you know. But
Yeah.
at least it's weighty, you know. There's ground.
Yeah,
And for example, who died? Falcone died at the end, right? As well.
yeah, exactly. I mean, he
there's-
kind of, it's more symbolic rather than literal. He almost sacrifices himself at the end where he cuts the cord and he falls into the water. Okay,
Yeah.
he doesn't die. But as you say, there's an element of stakes to it.
Huh.
Because something else I wanted to mention, I think we can end our discussion here on this topic, is also the quality of the writing. Now, you guys haven't watched Ant-Man and the Wasp:
No,
Quantumania,
I saw the
but the writing.
I saw the Modok sequence. Like,
Don't be a dick. Like, the writing on that show was horrific. Because I can forgive bad CGI. I have watched movies with horrific CGI, series with horrific CGI. But if you have a good story, emotional story, you can accept it. I mean, I won't accept it with Marvel anyways. But looking at the quality of the writers, like for example, the writer for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is Jeff Loveness. Now, what has Jeff Loveness do? I just checked what he's worked on.
show us.
He wrote
Show us.
6 episodes of Rick and Morty.
Show us.
He wrote 6 episodes of Rick and Morty. Miracle Workers, which I have no idea what that is. Stock, which is a short. And shorts.
He was a writer on The Onion.
And I mean, this guy is working.
I mean, like,
Right.
no disrespect to this guy, because he's obviously trying to do his best as a screenwriter. It seems like they hired someone who's cheap. Because they have other costs to go elsewhere.
And that's what you get when you're making 50 different shows. You can't get the best people working on every
No.
single one of these shows and movies. If you're making 50, if you're making one every couple of
Yeah.
years. Oops, spoiler. If you're getting 50 people working, if you get 50 people, 50 shows with people working on each one of these shows, you can't get the best for each one. If you have one movie, one show every 2-3 years, then yes, you can get the best
Yeah.
for each one. And then comparing it with Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, where it had Ryan Coogler, who is a very talented director and
Yeah.
writer. Very, very talented. I mean, he wrote Creed, for example,
And directed Creed.
and directed Creed as well. So that's a very, very talented director and writer. So there's that as well. That's another element to all of this, because it's not just the CGI. But anyways, guys, I think we can move on from this. We've had a lot of news to talk about. So guys, like Franco said, let us know in the comment section below, especially on the last topic. What do you think about this whole issue with Marvel and the VFX artists and the issues with the budget, or the budget going towards Black Panther 2? These artists being forced to work like 80 hours a week, big crunch for months long. It's too much, man. It's too much. They're being bled.
And
Literally bled.
please note, this is not saying like they don't have the money. This is a multi-billion corporation, all right? They
Yeah.
do have the resources.
Oh, 100%.
So fuck all these big-headed guys that get paid for basically doing shit decisions, while the people who are working their asses off trying to make something out of nothing. You know, like, come on, don't tell me they
Yeah.
deserve all those millions. The workers deserve millions for all the work that they've done and the breakdowns that they suffer. Shit's up. That
Yeah.
means what the fuck for
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
our foreign listeners, by the way.
Also, guys, because I forgot to mention this news, but I don't think we really need to get into it. Apparently, Aquaman 2 is shit. Moving on.
Water wet.
We've
Pun very
Lol.
much intended.
But it's diarrhea shit.
How did that movie make $1 billion,
It's
man?
watery.
How did the original Aquaman make? I don't
It's
know.
diarrhea.
Anyways.
moving on.
moving on to our reviews. And this week we're quite
light.
we don't have a lot of movies to talk about.
Sorry, guys.
We've got one movie to talk about. In
We
fact,
disappoint you today.
Franco.
We disappoint you guys. Sorry.
Yeah.
Just one movie.
To be fair, not much came out this week.
Yeah.
But Franco is going to be talking to us about EO. So, Franco, you watched EO?
EO. So,
Your thoughts?
my thoughts. EO, first of all, is a movie by Jerzy Skolimowski. Jerzy Skolimowski, as far as I remember, he's a UK-based Polish director, and Jerzy Skolimowski is known for a movie called The Scream. I think it's a 1917 movie. Let's confirm on the IMDb. There was
Avengers Assembled.
yes, he was part of that as well. And there is also, if you go down,
We're talking director, right?
Yes.
You directed it.
there should be a movie called The Shout, not The Scream, The Shout. It's also
Oh, The Shout is here.
yeah, that's 1978. Yeah, it's an interesting movie about, and this also has some Aborigine magic involved. Yeah, that's by EO is by the same director. It's done in his. It starts off with in his home country of Poland. So, the story follows a donkey's journey away from his loving human trainer at a circus in Poland, serving as an observer of humans' conflicted relationship with nature and themselves. It is visually stunning, beautifully shot. I like how it is shot from EO's point of view. The donkey is just fantastic. There's lots of texture in it. It's very tactile as far as the movie goes. The music is also great. The landscape is just gorgeous. So the two cons that this movie has, there's a sequence where it's like, oh my god, the bats are CG, and you know why? If you watch it, there's no shadows. I've become so attuned to noticing some stuff. I was like,
Too much corridor crew.
great, but yeah, too much corridor crew, and I was noticing like something's off immediately. There's no reflection. There's also a reflection in the sequence of and there's no reflection of the bats and no shadows. That's one thing, and I feel like it loses steam. Unfortunately, it's not a long movie. It clocks at 1 hour 28 minutes, and it finishes basically at 1 hour 20 minutes. Unfortunately, it loses steam in the third act, and it completely veers off. It's the only time where it goes out of the POV of EO almost completely, and focuses on this Italian priest. And there's also a cameo by Isabelle Huppert, which felt a bit added on. There's also some random decisions made story-wise, as if like they're very convenient plot, or very convenient plot points to move the plot forward, so to speak. But otherwise, watch it for the visuals, because I sent you some screenshots, guys. Right? The red is popping. I'm thinking of other visuals. There's a great visual in the forest. I kept on taking screenshots after screenshots, and it also served as a good lesson for me, trying to tell the story visually. There's a sequence where he ends up in a stable with very beautiful horses. I was looking at it, and the way his face is so expressive, and the way the animals empathize with each other. You think like this guy is either falling in love or observing it is as if it doesn't matter whether you're a beautiful horse or an ugly donkey, you're still gonna suffer at the hands of humans, basically. So do check it out. Let me know what you think. And I would maybe, if I was to give it a rating, I think 7 is good enough, and even the IMDb rating, it's reasonable. But trust me, you'd love the shots. It's a beautifully shot film. Polish full school of filmmaking.
Okay,
Looking forward
interesting.
to it.
So that's one me and Joe definitely have to watch for our Oscar.
Yes.
For our Oscar episode.
Is it nominated
Okay.
for Oscars?
Yes,
Oh.
it's nominated. Yeah, it's one of the
Best international.
best international. Sorry, not foreign. I keep on saying foreign. Best international. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so that's EO. Talking about red lighting, The Last of Us episode 7 had a lot of red lighting
Okay,
because,
Joe,
like I told Joe last
shall we
week,
rage quit?
it's true
Shall
though.
we
I'm
rage-
not kidding. It had a lot of.
Let's rage quit.
No spoilers here.
He's promised to be very brief. Very brief.
So, I was surprised that this character died. I was surprised that.
Okay, bye.
But yeah, like I mentioned, and by the way, Joe, before I get into the episode 7, quickly, what were your thoughts on episode 6? Because have you watched episode 6?
I have watched episode 6. I mean, it did what it needed to do. I didn't totally love the Tommy and Joel
Okay.
dynamic at first, but then they have a very nice, emotionally
interesting.
affecting scene. There were, like, my only qualm with it, and it's because of the medium that we're in, and I mean the game kind of does it too, but I mean they did it just to kind of as almost filler in the episode and to show off nice locations, but as they're traveling through the landscapes as that kind of time skip, after 2 of them I was kind of just get to it. You know?
Really? So no, I was in love with those
Yeah.
shots.
And I
I
mean
those
it's
shots.
good because it added to the character development and the bonds between the characters of Ellie and Joel as well. Actually, I don't love that they changed how Joel gets impaled from the game, just because I mean you mentioned that you'd like to see a bit more action in the TV series. That could have been a really good time to showcase some action because Franco, since you haven't played the game, the way it happens is Joel is up on a balcony inside that building, and one of the Ravagers comes out of nowhere and attacks him. And in the tussle that they have, they both fall off the balcony. But when Joel lands on the ground, he ends up with a pipe, basically through his lower abdomen, he got stabbed in that episode.
So they changed.
Yes,
the way he gets
They
the
changed
pipe.
it. And then basically in the game you're controlling Joel, but you're limping around and you're trying to walk, and then Ellie is fighting off the rest of the Ravagers and they're trying to attack you. So I felt like it could have been a pretty stunning action set piece. But then at the same time, I don't know the TV audience would have bought into that at this stage, because we haven't really seen Ellie be totally capable of defending Joel.
And budget issues.
Yes, and budget.
remember, I mean,
yes, there's that to consider as
we
well.
have to keep that in mind.
But
as
I
well.
mean,
they probably spent most of their money on
Yes,
episode 5
yes.
for big action.
in the games by this point as well, Ellie has been in plenty of fights with you and she's held her own, so it's not beyond the realm of disbelief for
And-
her to fight off these people.
And what did you think of off the cover version of the Depeche Mode song? Because that really threw me off first. These cover versions.
I mean, yeah, I'm not the biggest Depeche Mode fan, so I don't really have any huge feelings towards it.
Hey, don't you dare!
Look, I'm not knocking it.
This anti-Depeche.
I'm not dissing it. I am saying me. I'm not the biggest fan. If you are, whatever floats your boat.
Same
Yeah,
here.
no,
I'm not the biggest fan of Depeche Mode. I don't really.
Well, no, it's just the cover.
To throw some shade, it's too old for me. It's not for my generation. They were before my time.
I am literally biting my tongue for the listeners. So older but wiser, but nonetheless stupid anyway. Moving swiftly on.
So, episode 6 was, I think, my favorite episode. For me personally, I loved the whole dynamic between Tommy and Joel. I loved that moment
Andrea,
between Joel
quick
and Ellie, taken almost completely straight from the game. Franco.
trivia. Apparently, this is how Pedro Pascal was committed to the scene. And while they were shooting, while they were putting the cameras towards, I think Gabriel Luna, the guy who plays Tommy.
Gabriel Luna.
Gabriel, his brother.
Gabriel Luna, apparently, Pedro Pascal cried every single time. That's how committed he was, and that's why that scene particularly works. Because even at that time, I was like, I felt it, man. I really felt it.
When he shouted out his name, that felt real.
Oh my God. But
it was very good.
Felt it. Like just like the Ellie cry when Henry shoots himself. Like that also felt real. Like these moments we don't when you see them, you're like, that was a real moment of real emotion. Like it's pure emotion. That's not acting. That's like pure emotion. It feels too real for it to just be acting. And that cry when Tommy saw when Joel saw Tommy for the first time and cried out his name again, that felt like real. That felt real. So I loved episode 6. I thought some of the cinematography was incredible. It developed the dynamic between Joel and Ellie perfectly. I've been looking forward to this episode for a very long time, and that's also my favorite moment in the game, the Joel and Ellie moment. I wish they didn't remove the
you were treading on some mighty thin ice.
Mighty thin ice. But I understood why they removed it. I listened to the podcast after our podcast, and even because of the accent. The accent plays a really strong part there. And obviously Pedro doesn't have that accent, so I understand why they removed. I still wish it was there. But anyways, small point. But that was my favorite episode. Episode 7, basically, this isn't a spoiler. It adapts the DLC, right? It's quite obvious. I mean, we've seen clearly what happens there. It adapts the DLC now. Like I was saying to you before the episode, Joe, I don't have this like strong emotional connection with the DLC because I played it once, and that's it. Basically, it's very good. It's excellent DLC, but I don't have that strong emotion. So that could be one of the reasons why I'm not too big on this episode. I know people are raving about it online. What is good about this
episode 7?
episode?
They're raving about it.
Yes, absolutely raving about it. Loving episode 7. So it gives a lot of very good backstory to Ellie. Very true. Very, very true. The bond between Joel and Ellie at the end of this episode. Real bond. Like pure real. Now, my issue is not with this episode per se. It's more with, like, now having watched 7 episodes, we need a bit more tension, I believe. We need a bit more tension. We've, I think, almost completely forgotten about the clickers, almost completely forgotten about the zombies in this. Like, it's just... I know it's the Z words with The Last of Us. You're not supposed to use the Z word, but I'll use
just
it
the point I
anyways.
was going to make is that, like, they're big in the game because it's a game and you have to fight something. Like, they've never been the point.
Yes and no. As in,
But when was the last time we
human emotion.
When was the last?
Franco?
I was going to ask, when was the last time we've seen a clicker now, or the bloater? We haven't even seen
2 episodes
Runner.
ago.
Yeah, 2
Guys,
episodes.
what's been 1 episode?
Episode 5. Episode 5.
but
And we
even-
saw thousands of them in episode 5.
But I guess this more than just a clicker, like a clicker series. This is more about the humans and the way they survive in this
Yes.
incredibly
No,
Always
100%.
has been.
100%.
Always has been.
in incredible circumstances as well.
But I feel like we've gone to the other extreme now. Like, yes, clearly this is not a zombie show. I do feel like they're becoming a bit of an afterthought, though, at times in this show. Like, again, and that's someone who's coming from the game, who you know, obviously you've got the gameplay loop where you're hiding, scavenging for supplies, then battling off against the clickers
Maybe
and whatnot.
That's
Then there's the scavengers who attack you.
maybe Pedro Pascal should be a playable character. That's what's missing now from the series. Press X.
Pedro Pascal does the action brilliantly.
Press.
So I want to see Pedro Pascal shooting that gun more, man. He looks good with that.
Can you imagine
Daddy Pascal.
the Pascal? But can you imagine like suddenly on the series like press X, tap X.
No, but overall, as an episode, it's a very, very good episode. For Joe, who knows what happens in the DLC, it's beautifully, beautifully portrayed. The performances, Bella Ramsey again, absolutely, absolutely amazing. She has really grown into the role.
Andrea, please.
Oh, sorry. I forgot. They have grown into the role. Pronouns are hard then. They have grown into the role, and absolutely brilliant performance by
them.
Storm Reed.
What would the pronoun be?
By them. I thought you were referring to Storm Reed. My bad.
Feels so weird.
I know, but it's good to make an effort, guys. I guess. I mean,
no, definitely, 100%. It's just my ignorance here. And like Joe mentioned, also Storm Reed, pitch perfect. Like, perfectly fits into the tone. Perfectly fits into. Like, she's great in this.
I think
great
Storm,
in this.
Storm Reed seems to be an underused actress so far. Seeing with what she did in Euphoria.
I mean, what has she been in so far?
A Stitch in Time.
Oh, she was. No, but there was this one. She was in The Invisible Man.
Yes. Oh my God.
She was the friend's daughter.
Ah. I'm not.
She was really good in that as well. She's in Euphoria. She's fantastic in Euphoria.
Invisible Man.
I think apart from The Invisible Man, I haven't seen her in anything because I'm going through her list.
She's still very young though, so.
In Euphoria, she's really good. No, she's 19 now as well. No.
I mean, I don't know about you, but even to me, that's young.
You're telling me that's young?
So she's Bella Ramsey's age. She looks so much older than Bella Ramsey's, right?
Bella Ramsey looks very young though.
Yes,
to be fair.
She looks so much, and she's much taller than her as well.
Like it's actually much thing. Taller. One thing I want to pitch to you guys. It's no secret that in The Last of Us Part 2, the video game, that's set 5 years after the events of the first game, where Ellie is obviously 5 years older, and she looks it. She's meant to be a 19-year-old by that point in the game. I think Bella Ramsey is great. Her performance as Ellie, she's fantastic. But I do think for the second series, I think just from a believability standpoint, just because she's not the biggest and she looks so young, I do think that we need a recast, and I'm fully putting this out there. My pitch for a recast, Caitlin Dever.
Caitlin Dever. Guys, by the way, sorry if we keep mispronouncing the pronouns.
Misgendering, yes. We're three white guys trying our best.
Yeah. Kathleen, what's her name? Kathleen?
Caitlin Dever.
Caitlin
Dever.
Dever. All right. What have I seen?
There's been loads of stuff. But I think for an older Ellie, because she looks like she could be like a more mature 19 to 20-year-old, and she's fantastic. She's my pick. She was in Booksmart. She was in Detroit. Okay. She was in Dope Sick, the TV series.
How's her physicality,
very
Joe?
Good.
Because, I mean, a slight spoiler for season 2. She has a lot of stunt work and there's a lot of
they might go the route that they've gone with season 1, where they kind of they slack on the stunt work a little bit, but
you can't really there's some stuff you have to do with Ellie.
To not spoil anything about season 2. Oh, if they adapted from the games.
Because can you imagine Bella Ramsey taking on
exactly? It's no disrespect to Bella Ramsey, because she's been
no,
great,
none at all.
She doesn't have the physical form I think that you need for an older Ellie. She has to be taller. She has to be not more imposing, but Ellie kind of has in The Last of Us Part 2. She's almost even though she's probably not that tall, she's got almost that basketball player physique where she's got very long legs and arms, and she's very limber. And she's very quick.
Yes.
But she appears to be quite tall. But Bella Ramsey that's all she's lacking. Otherwise, she'd be great.
I I don't think they have that kind of physicality, because even imagine Ellie doing that like cat-like action sequence. I can't imagine, but maybe she will surprise us and perform brilliantly in that.
We don't know. We'll see.
Oh,
Guess we'll find out. I don't know if it's been confirmed or has it
No,
been confirmed, guys?
nothing's
Do
been
you know?
said so far.
no,
about
season
cast for
no
season two.
cast for season 2, nothing. But they confirmed season 2. That's it.
I am praying and hoping for someone that our Lady and Savior gets cast as Abby. Andrea, what do we think of that?
Well,
Florence Pugh as
what?
Abby. I
have to hate, who, man. I have to. Until now we mentioned. Abby.
don't hate Abby at all. I think she's a
I hate
fantastic
Abby.
character.
I hate Abby. I kept on killing
Mia
her
Goth.
in the game.
Mia Goth.
I spent like 2 hours. No, don't cast actors I love in this role, Franco. This has to be an actress
can you imagine?
whom I really
Can
hate.
you imagine?
Nah, I so wait, you didn't, not to spoil anything for Franco, but you didn't empathize with Abby at all.
Nope.
I hate to say this. I think the point.
Zero.
I think the point of that second game might have gone over your head then. In that case,
No, I completely 100% did not empathize with
Sure,
her.
because
Like, I went through the whole game, and I could see what the game was trying to do,
that's weird.
I could see what the game was
really
trying to
connected
do.
with her.
but it completely failed in the second part. The first part I loved. The first part, although some of the story plot points and some of the character decisions were God,
I think you
awful.
and I need a private podcast where we go toe to toe on that one, because I genuinely just I know what you're referring to even when you say it, and I want to counter it, but I can't here without totally spoiling it for Franco. So
True.
we'll
No,
save
I
it.
know,
We'll
we
save
can't.
it.
And I think, guys,
But this will be an interesting discussion next
Yes,
year when
true.
season
And
2
I
comes
think,
out.
guys, it's time to wrap this up.
Yes, because I need to
definitely. We've hit the 2
go
hour
and pick
mark.
up my girlfriend. So
And
And time to go watch Rocky
I think
4.
Belarus, they should be given a chance to shine.
for sure.
Maybe we haven't seen them just given enough time with action scenes. So let's
And
it's
episode 8.
yeah, exactly.
That'll be an interesting one.
Let's give them
With Bella
let's give them
Ramsey.
the chance.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think episode 8 will be a good showcase
Let's see.
on that element. Now we'll see. All right, guys. So, have you watched Last of Us episode
No.
7? If you have, let us know in the comment section below. Have you watched EO? If you have, let us know in the comment section below. I doubt you've watched EO though, right, Franco?
Me, I did.
Maybe.
Maybe our viewers have watched.
I watched EO, and this is an unconscious decision that I made, like wearing red.
By the way, I wasn't kidding about the red lighting in The Last of Us episode 7. There's a lot of red lighting
I will
in
find
Last
out
of Us
later.
episode 7.
Nice.
Enjoy. All right, guys. So that's us for today. Wrapped up a good 2 hours in there in our podcast. So, as always, like, subscribe, follow all
share,
our socials, our TikTok,
share.
our Instagram. Share this with your friends. Thank you to all our Twitter viewers. There were a lot of Twitter viewers on our last interview
Yay.
episode. A lot of new follows on Twitter as well, and a lot of new subscribers on our channel. So welcome to you guys. Lots of horror fans who came in. Not a lot of horror to talk about this week, unfortunately. But, well, next week we've got Creed. Creed review, definitely. I'll be reviewing Creed because I'm going to go watch it on Friday in Gozo. But maybe we can get in some horror.
I'll
next
have
week, guys.
Sanctuary. That's meant to be a psychological horror, so I'll have that.
There we go. So
Sanctuary.
you can look forward to that,
Oh,
guys. So
actually,
welcome to all the new
I-
Twitter
I do
viewers.
have a
Yes,
have a
Franco.
movie that I will suggest. Huesera, The Bone Woman. I think you can check it out as well. It's a Spanish language horror movie.
Cool.
So that would be a good one to
Wonderful.
review.
Hisera,
Huesera.
the Bone Woman.
And there's
Okay.
also
Quickly, can you share
there's
it?
also Swallowed as well. A queer horror movie.
Okay.
Okay.
That's Hisera and Swallowed. Is it
Yes.
this one?
Look at that throat.
Oh,
Damn.
interesting.
Oh, shit.
They have to swallow.
Okay,
they have
guys,
to.
I really have to go.
Okay. Fly away, my boy.
All right, guys. Ciao, ciao, guys.
Have a good one.
Have a good evening.
See you.
Ciao. Thank you to our viewers, listeners.
Goodbye.
See ya.